NHL Night with your host, the sports, a.k.a. Peter Lebowski, a.k.a. Jeremiah Maxwell. And with him, as always, maybe Pearlo, Wisdom, and Rico in Barry.
Okay, no Rico and Barry, no Pearlo Wisdom. We are expecting Pearlo later, but I've got Mike the Degenerate, the Boston Degenerate. Yes, who's been such an awesome addition to the show. And of course, our main man, Occupancy. He's all clean shaven and he's got the shades on like me. I'm going shades in the summer here. We'll go summer shades and not my normal lens protecting glasses. Well, guys, let's get right to it. I think the breaking news that occurred right before the Avalanche game with Dechushkin being out 6 months is like the story. I mean, that's huge. What are you guys' thoughts on it?
For me, go
ahead, Mike.
Go ahead, Mike. So I've always valued him actually more as a character person, so it was a kind of a shock. But in terms of the Avalanche, I'm like, that's a big power play presence you lose, and that guy can shoot.
He leads the playoffs in goals, by the way.
Yeah, like he's one of my favorite shooters in the NHL. Like he may not be the best player in the world, but man, can he shoot the puck? And I'm curious how this affects Colorado because they've been living and dying on the offensive end only.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Lucy, your Stars, this could be the night they go up 3-1. This is a huge game, and then they'll be one series away from the Stanley Cup final. And I have to say, I think the Stars walk to the finals if they play Edmonton. And I think if they play Vancouver, it'll be a tougher series, but it's going to be interesting. I know a lot of people don't like hearing that opinion because we have all these Lord and Savior worshipers. And when I say Lord and Savior, I'm talking about Connor McJesus. I have not been impressed with Edmonton at all. I think they're a one-line hockey team, but we will see. Occupancy, give your thoughts on the loss of Val Nichushkin.
It hurts a lot. I mean, he's a finisher. He knows the game. He's a top talent. Was it last year, the incident in Seattle? Was that the last season or a couple seasons ago?
I think that was last year actually during the playoffs.
Yeah. So if I'm management, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I hope he's okay. I actually didn't see the details yet. The story was so new. So I don't know what the allegations are for. But I know that management probably knows he's had a tough past, and I'm sure they try to get him the help he needs. I didn't see exactly what he did, but I mean, it's just the team. It's tough for the team, and it's not a good time, for this to go on. So it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt everybody.
Honestly, it reminds me of Spencer Knight. Goaltender went to Florida and just kind of.
Yeah, his was not drug and alcohol related. I can specifically tell you, and he had a hell of a season in the AHL this year, Mike. So I think, honestly, I thought if there was some talk if Bobrovsky got hurt that he could come in and play. But Stolarz played really well for Florida too. So, but I definitely think if we saw an injury, God forbid, to Sergei Bobrovsky, okay. Right before I was going to say the Stuart Skinner stat, but before we go down that road, we're talking about Bobrovsky. Let's throw it right into your Boston Bruins and this Florida Panthers series. Not without controversy. I definitely want to get you to start it off, Mike. Get your feelings on the Bennett's play, the goal, the hit on Marchand, where you're at, and what do you think? And
first things first, disappointed with the Boston fans throwing stuff on the ice. Hate it, but that unfortunately is bandwagon Boston. It's a real unfortunate thing. But moving on from that, love the officiating as someone who took the Panthers. I don't know how there wasn't a suspension on the Marchand hit. I don't know how those were were goaltender interferences. It's driving me up a wall in that sense. Like,
yeah, let me ask you real quick. Let's just because you went over it so quickly. The Marchand hit on. Oh, hey, Jared. Thanks for joining us from Red Deer, Alberta, man. Appreciate you. We got our own Rick and Red Deer. I love it, Jared. That's awesome. I appreciate you coming on. did you think that the hit that I thought Marchand initiated 100% on Bennett was a dirty hit?
Agreed.
You think it was?
I thought Bennett's response was like he needed to respond to that. What I didn't like was, like the shot to the throat. I'm like they've been calling that a lot. And maybe it's just because I watch a lot of Bruins games because I see Marchand retaliate that. And I mean, we've all seen it on every social media whatsoever.
Right.
So I guess from that perspective, well, Marchand always gets suspended for that. Why isn't, the other guy? But, I get Marchand's got a rep. He'll always have a rep. I actually think his reputation is going to cost him the Hall of Fame. I think it gets snubbed. But
really?
I do. I really do. I think I don't think he's going to Toronto when his career is over, no matter how good his numbers are. But that's a story for another day.
Okay. Yeah.
But no, I was pretty livid as a Bruins fan, not seeing anything come out of that for Bennett. I don't understand. I guess I don't understand it. I'm not saying Marchand's clean, and I'm saying Marchand didn't start it. I just don't understand it.
Sub having Gaucho. Marchand is a dirty fuck. What goes around comes around. I do think there were a lot of people that were not sad to see I'll just say this. I do not think that the play was that dirty because Marchand initiates the contact. He comes across the ice to levy a hit on Bennett, which he didn't even have to do.
Right.
It looked like he was about to go for a change. I just think he was like, I'm going to lay a lick on this guy who's got a broken hand. And turned out he got the worst of it. Now, I get it. There was a little bit of a rabbit punch there when we saw the other camera angle 2 days later. I did not think it was a suspendable play, but because it's playoff hockey, man, we see so much stuff go uncalled. I mean, for crying out loud, McDavid sliced open Quinn Hughes' face. They didn't call a double minor. They didn't even call a penalty. It's like, I don't get it. I mean, I don't understand. And I'll tell you what, I had to say this in defense of you, Mike. Don Sweeney is on to something here, and he is right. The NHL officials should have to come to the carpet and say, now in this case, in the goal that we'll talk about, and I want both your opinions on that, the Charlie Coyle goal, I actually thought it was a good call on the ice. I thought he barely shoves, he basically pushes him out of the way to make it clear, but I think that there was no way Swayman was making a save on that at all. And so I like that they didn't change it. I know it was a tough pill for Bruins fans to swallow, and we've seen less get called back for certain. But if Toronto makes the call, Toronto should have to answer to the media. No shortage of media in Toronto. And I think if the on-ice officials make the final call, they should have to answer and the coaches, and I agree with what Sweeney said, they should just talk about how the game was executed. It's not their place to talk about the officiating. And so anyway, what do you guys think about the goal?
So I think the player safety kind of explained it, and they said, look, you had to call a cross check if you were going to get a goalie interference call. And it wasn't a cross check. It was
clearly not a cross check.
No, it was a tough hit in the ice.
It was a push. He pushed him with his stick.
Right, but it wasn't it wasn't a penalty. So they're saying that you can't now call goalie interference on it.
But the rule says, occupancy, I'm sorry, but the rule says if you push a player into the goalie and prevent him from saving, then that goal could be called back. So they could have called it back.
Yeah. Yeah, they were going back and forth on this on the broadcast in game, but from how I saw it, look, that whole series, that leading up to the goal, look, you could see it was Florida's second power play unit. They were having a tough time getting the puck over the line. They kind of just kept creeping closer and closer. They got passes. They didn't have that puck handler, but they got it in, and they made a great goal. And I mean, was it one of those? I think the call was right on the ice, and it's a type of goal that is just part of the game. That type of goal is just part of the game, and it's a good goal.
I like that they allowed it because I think Swayman wouldn't have saved it, and I think the ref on ice saw that. But again, Mike, you're a Boston Bruins fan. Tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, no, I honestly, again, like I had, as a gambler, I had Florida. I've got Florida in the series, so I love.
So you take all the emotion out of it, Mike, by being a gambler, and you, even though it's your hometown team, you're not sweating it.
No, but I felt there was goalie interference. I thought you said it before. We've seen a whole lot less get called goalie interference, so I did think the push into Swayman, and I do agree with you. I don't think Swayman was making that save, but he didn't stand a chance.
With Coyle on top of him.
And I think to me, it frustrated me more. I'm like, I love having money in my wallet, but it goes from a 2-1 game, if that's called goalie interference, to now it's 3-2, and all of a sudden it's a 3-1 series.
Yeah, that was the tying goal.
Yeah,
that was the tying goal.
Yeah,
right. But then the ensuing power play they got out of it, granted, they technically killed the penalty, but the rush right after led to 3-2.
They scored. Yep, absolutely. I will say, I wholeheartedly think that Florida was tying that game. And they dominated the play in that game.
Beard, can I throw another question into the circle?
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you have challenged? Because if you didn't go down a man and
I think he had no choice there. I think he had no choice. Occupancy. I think if he doesn't challenge there, he's being destroyed by the Boston media.
Fair.
Yes.
And at least he challenged and look, Boston doesn't get credit for how tough their media is. Their media is tough. I mean, look, that city wins a lot of championships. Their basketball team looks like they're going to win another. Their football team has won several, so Subhuman says, I had Florida 1.5 in the series. Sadly, I also have the Oilers 1.5, but smashed Nucks last game, so I don't give a F. Okay, Pearlo, thanks for joining. We were just talking about, before you joined us, we talked about the startling news that the Colorado Avalanche will be playing the rest of the playoffs in 6 months without Val Nichushkin. And also that Devon Taves game time is not playing. I guess result of that Ben hit, which I thought was 2 games ago. He came back and played in that game. So I'm wondering, what's the issue there? Is he that banged up? Because that was 2 games ago. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, he probably kept on trying to play, but it just.
By the way, clean hit by Ben. Just clean hockey hit. Sucks. Yeah. You might argue it's a little high, but he hits him in the chest. I mean, it's a tough play, but overtime. London 6-6 Oshawa. London came back from a 6-2, scored fun answered in the third. Rick Smith giving us the Ontario Hockey League. Is that the final for the OHL, Rick? Thank you for the update, Rick. I love it. And by the way, there's some NHLers on that one, right? So Pearlo, I guess the first question I'll ask you is, did you think the Jeremy Swayman goal should have counted the Sam Bennett goal?
It's kind of like a 50-50. Really.
Dallas has just scored shorthanded. Dallas just scored shorthanded. Sorry.
Yeah, those kind of calls, it's hard to say. You don't even know what's going on with the league right now as far as what is allowed, what's not allowed. They got to in the off season. I think you're going to find out that they're going to give you a lot more information on what that is. Because
Don Sweeney, you said before he came on, Don Sweeney said something I thought was very profound. It's that they should have to answer to the media after the game, and I don't disagree. And we're talking about the on-ice.
I have to. Players have to. Why shouldn't they? They it's true. Yeah, I agree.
So
very good point.
On that game, my source would be MGM.
Yeah.
Betting app, 71% of the spread bets were on Boston at plus 1.5. 84% of all money line bets were on Boston at plus money. As someone who I hate to spoke conspiracy theories, But Vegas did very, very well with Florida winning that game.
But didn't they win 3-2? Wasn't the final 3-2? So if you had Boston 1.5, you won money.
You did win the bet, but with Boston up 2-1, it really helps for them to tie the game up and put them on a power play. It's a conspiracy there.
Dude. I mean, I'm telling you, there's a lot of one-siding officiating. Game 2 in Vancouver, I thought was maybe a blatant slew foot from Evander Kane. Don't know how they miss it. Double minor for McDavid. He slices open Quinn Hughes' face. No call. I mean, like, I get McDavid is McJesus and the Lord and Savior for everybody. Like, come on, man. That call could have changed that game hugely. And, you know, Vancouver could be looking at a 3-0. I hear Edmonton fans going, we should be up 3-0. Oh, no, you should not. You soundly lost game 1. You soundly lost game 3. I mean, yeah, you got a late rally there with a goal, but I'm sorry, man. And I have to say, since we're talking about controversial decisions, Zach Hyman fucking hits Zadorov right in the face with his stick. There's no players meeting safety for him. And I don't know what Soucy's supposed to do there. Zadorov hits McDavid from behind. McDavid goes forward into Soucy's stick. It's Soucy's fault. Oh, you have control of your stick? That was the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard. That should not be a suspension for Soucy. By the way, Soucy and Myers have shut down that McDavid line, and all they're doing is playing. Like, McDavid and Draisaitl had 30 minutes in that game. That's a recipe for disaster. Okay, well, let's jump into it. Stuart Skinner now has the worst save percentage in the salary cap era. Another reason I didn't like Edmonton when it was on Vancouver. What do you guys say to that one? It's been obvious. He's not good in the playoffs.
I just want to say thank you for reiterating points that I've been yelling at people for, 3 years now. And I've just been called a hater. So
you're not a hater. It's the numbers are there. Pearlo, you're the Edmonton guy. What do you got?
No, he's not a good enough goaltender for the defense that they have. That's the main problem.
That's true.
Yeah, he's a good enough goaltender for some teams, but not for the defense they have.
Outside of Ekholm and Bouchard, their defense has been tracked.
And Bouchard's poor defensively. CC is okay. You know, like they really don't have that great of a defense. So
yeah,
you need to have a better. You need to have a better goal. They have good two-way forwards. They're kind of like Florida that way, but Florida's got even better two-way forwards. But their defense is not good. It hasn't been good for 12 years now, and we'll see it changing.
Well, to quote Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation, he doesn't believe Cody Ceci is an NHL defenseman. And will not be on an NHL roster next year.
I would agree. I would totally agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, Occupancy, Mike, you guys have anything about the series? By the way, Wyatt Johnson was the goal scorer, and the Dallas Stars already have 13 shots. We're almost through the first period to Colorado's 2.
The only thing I can chime in with Edmonton is, they switched up their style a lot, didn't they? Like when Knobloch came in, wasn't it defense first? They had like 10, 20 straight unders or something. Remember that? But then all of a sudden they switch again, and maybe I forget exactly what the scheme is. But I think maybe something.
I think they run a 1-3-1 there. Do they?
But did they stop and start, or did they just keep running it? I don't know about. Have they always? I don't know. I just feel like they were playing good defense, playing unders when new coach came in, and then maybe they were getting hot and heavy, at the end of the season and then the early playoffs, and they start, running up the numbers again. I mean, they're scoring, 7-8 goals. Maybe they forgot a little bit about the defensive commitment, and now when you're playing against a team that can expose it, is why you see Skinner's number the way it is. That would be my, quick 2 cents.
Yeah. Mike, you got anything?
I've never believed in Skinner. It's been I don't know if in my lifetime I've really totally bought into an Edmonton goalie. And I haven't been passionately watching non-Bruins hockey until I was probably 20, 22. So we're going about 10 years now. So if I've definitely missed something back then, go for it, because I didn't passionately watch other teams.
I would say the best goalie Edmonton has had in my lifetime is Dwayne Rollison, and that being fair to the legend that is Grant Fuhr, who won 4 Stanley Cups. I know Bill Ranford was the 5th, but like I didn't really get to see a lot of Fuhr because I was so young. But I thought Rollison was incredible in that cup run. He gets hurt in the, I think, conference finals. That was the 06 series where they lost to Carolina, and Cam Ward and Eric Stahl and that team. Big melee at the end of the period here. But Pearlo, I mean, I don't know. Is there another goalie that's wasted their career in Edmonton? I can't think of a guy maybe better than Roll. I got to shout out my Anchorage, Alaska guy, Ty Conklin, who came in and filled the bill for Rollison, but and also I think was 3-0. And yes, I do, Sad. I think Zach Hyman should get suspended. He should have got suspended. He did more or worse in the play by checking right to the guy's face like this than Soucy did. And again, I just don't blame Soucy. And look, McDavid, I think actually had good comments on it. As much as I want to shit on him, it's not him making the call, but it's like, come on, man. It needs to be fair and equitable across the board. If Bennett's thing was a suspension, he should be suspended. You know, it's just, I don't understand. And they can fix this stuff. I don't understand. Even if they wait a game. No, we made a mistake. This is a suspension. It is what it is. And I think the players would appreciate it. Consistency is key. But, yeah, okay. Well, we've got the series there. Which series? Okay, tonight, guys, we got to talk a little bit about the Rangers. They bungled this game, right? They're up 1-0 going into the third. Shesterkin hasn't let more than 3 goals in the entire. He was going on a run until the last game where he let 4 in the 4-3 game. He was 30 games. The only goalie to do more than 30 games with 3 goals or less is his backup, Jonathan Quick, who did it for 34 games in the playoffs. That's unbelievable that he, in 34 games, he never allowed more than 3 goals or less. And that's how well Shesterkin was playing. And anybody that knew Shesterkin definitely, if the Rangers won the cup, was going to win the Conn Smythe. I'm worried now, if you're a Rangers fan, they make it into the conference finals?
I'll start. I do. Yeah. I don't see them losing 4 in a row.
Okay.
I am concerned about Shesterkin the last 2 games. So that being said, you can't be perfect every game. You know, so I know it's the playoffs. You're going to be on your game and all that. But I think they've got enough. I also just don't buy into Carolina the way they played against the Islanders. That I thought the Islanders were the better team.
Yeah, the Islanders were the better team for sure.
Yeah, they just couldn't win. And I think the Rangers are way better than the Islanders. And that being said, I'm not worried about them losing 4 in a row. Game 6 might go to Carolina, though. That could happen. I do.
Yeah, I think we're looking at a 7-game series here.
Yeah.
In MSG. What about you, Occupancy? You look like you're ready to go.
Yeah, because this series is pretty interesting, right? I mean, like Beard was saying, with Shesterkin not letting, more than 3 goals in for that run. And I think Carolina hadn't won a game in MSG in ever, a playoff game in there was some stat on.
They're going back to the Hartford days.
Yeah, where they've won a playoff game in MSG. So, look, Game 5, you knew Brindamore saying to these guys, just get one game. You just keep saying get one game. And look, the Rangers, they were playing clean. They were playing tight all the first 3 games. They just.
Yeah, I thought they played great the first 2 periods in this game, by the way.
Yeah. So what do I mean, I think Carolina can push this. I don't know if they're going to win 4 in a row, but it's an even series where you thought the Rangers were just going to close it down in a gentleman's sweep. You really did. But Carolina's, they have too many highly skilled players too. I mean, you go up and down the lineup and they just got, with the Gensel edition, we talk about this all the time, but it's like they have so many good pieces. And I think, It's just a matter of hockey is, look, you get momentum, you get pucks going your way, you get calls going your way, this and that. You hit posts, you don't get shit going your way. I mean, this is hockey. It's a rubber puck going 100 miles per hour on a frictionless surface. All right. You can have skill, but the puck luck is real.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Carolina didn't have, we're just getting the short end of the stick in the first couple games. I mean, and now things are flying. It could be anyone's game. And I ultimately, I think this could go 7, like you guys said. I really do.
So from our main man, Johnny Lazarus, former guest, he says, I don't think we were sharp. You mentioned the third period. I thought it went deeper than that. It was off. So Laviolette didn't like the whole game. Here's what I'll say before Pearlo and Mike go. I have not liked the Rangers at all 5v5 in this in the playoffs. I haven't liked them 5v5 in the playoffs at all. And I thought the Capitals couldn't push them because it's Ovi and nobody else. But Oshie was playing with a broken back, and it is what it is. But yeah, I'm a little concerned about the Oilers. Or I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little bit concerned about the Rangers right now. Pearlo or Mike, do you have anything to add to this Rangers convo?
Yeah, I'll start out. I put a bet in before the game for Carolina to win the series at plus 650.
Nice, nice. All right, Pearlo.
So
Pearlo,
we're on the same page there, Beard.
Okay.
I really think that when it comes down to crunch time, I'm not too confident that these Ranger players are going to be able to put it away and just like you said, because the Rangers can't shut it down. That's the problem. They can't.
Yeah, where was Zibanejad? Where was Panarin? Where were their good players?
They can't shut it down. They don't have a game to shut it down, and that's what you need when you're trying to put that game away. And they may do it. Maybe Carolina will freaking give them power plays or whatever or something like that. They might, but I would not be surprised. In fact, I would say Carolina's at their best position right now. This is when they when they're able to play a game that the Rangers I don't think can beat, and they should have been playing it right away, but they didn't, and now they have no choice. So I would not be surprised if Carolina comes back and wins this series. I had Carolina to win the series before the series started. I have to admit, I'm very impressed with the Rangers. They're better 5-on-5 than they were last year, and their power play is just stupid. What was it, like over 50% or something like that? And how many goals have they scored on the penalty kill or shorthanded? I think it was 2 or 3 probably.
What, the Rangers? Yeah, I mean, Trouba's was a shorthanded tonight. His goal was a shorthanded goal. So
yeah. So,
2 or 3.
But I still will have to maintain that special teams will not win playoffs. 5-on-5 will.
I agree.
And I'm going to throw a little bit. I threw a little bit out there, plus 600, just because I think Carolina has a better 5-on-5 game, and Shesterkin could end it easy, but for plus 650,
yeah, take it. Oh yeah, I love it. Mike, you getting on that? Mike, where are you at with this?
So I did take the Rangers. I simply thought, I again hated Carolina against the Isles. I thought the Rangers were just going to steamroll them, and it started out that way.
And they almost did. Yeah, they almost beat them in 4.
The Rangers have been great in the first period this playoffs.
Yep.
And you said it best. They have no closer. I'm looking more at Fox. I want that guy playing 10 minutes in the third period.
He's injured. He's clearly injured. Yeah.
Give him a shot. Get him in the game.
Yeah, I think he's injured. And I'm saying this from other Ranger fans that have noticed his lateral movement and stuff and he has just not shined at all. And I know he's not a great skater, but he's too smart a hockey player to not make a noticeable impact. And that's why and now granted, give Carolina credit. They're a great defensive team too. But I am with you, but I believe he's hurt. Not been reported, but.
I mean, Tkachuk's broken foot wasn't reported last year until it was over. So maybe it could be the same thing.
Yeah. Go ahead and finish your thought there, Mike. I apologize. I just wanted
No. I was saying I was just simply saying find a way to get him in there more. Just figure it out? I mean, it's hockey. Guys play with broken bones for years.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And I don't think that's the case with him, but I mean, yes, like Tkachuk played with a broken sternum last year.
Who does that?
Yeah, no. Football players are out for turf toe. Okay. So we know. I mean, I know that's insanely hard to run on. So anyway, okay. All right, guys, since we're talking the gambling aspect, we've got 2 games tomorrow. 2 series could be in full swing. Panthers could end the Bruins. I think they will. It's in Florida. I have seen nothing but professionalism from this team. It's a minus 218 on the Panthers. I'm taking the Panthers all day here. I haven't seen anything from Boston. I'm guessing no Marchand. I just think it's the last. Now, look, I'll tell you what, though. I was so impressed with Boston in the first period, but I just think they shoot their emotional wad, and then they had nothing for the second and third period, and it was all Florida. Really was all Florida in the first. It's just Florida was losing 2-0. So it's hard to not give Bruins some credit there. But I thought for a 60-minute game, to be losing a good portion of that game, Florida dominated the Bruins. And I like the Bruins to lose this series tomorrow. Let's start with Pearlo. Where are you at with this, Pearlo?
Yeah, I think Florida ends it tomorrow as well. I'm on the same page.
The over-under is 5.5, by the way.
Yeah, well, it's an elimination game, right? So overs are always popular with those because Boston, if they're down 2-1, they're going to have to pull their goaltender, and they'll pull their goaltender early. So I would probably look at the over here. But more than anything, I would just take Florida. It's a terrible price on the money line, so I'll take Florida in regulation.
Okay, thank you, Pearlo. Mike, what are you thinking?
Gambling wise, probably not going to touch the game. I don't like minus 280.
Yeah, 218 is what I'm getting. Minus 218 from FanDuel.
Still not loving it.
DraftKings, sorry.
From a personal, every time I take the 60-minute line, they always go win. My team wins in overtime. So that's just a personal. I always just lose that bet.
Okay.
I actually like the over as well.
Okay.
I see this being a 2-1 game in the third, and I would bank on multiple empty net goals. I think it's going to be one of those games where you just, all right, let's pull. It's 5-1. Let's just pull them anyways because a season's over.
Yeah. That was plus 290 after the FP was insane. This Florida team is merciless. They will stand on your neck and they will do it with joy. I agree, Subhuman Gaucho. That's a great way to describe the Florida Panthers game. And I honestly, dude, they haven't taken a bunch of dumb penalties. They're not really a bunch of goons, but they're agitators. It's a team of Darcy Tuckers. Occupancy. What do you got here, buddy?
For sure. I'm not betting this game.
Okay.
So I won't have any money on it, but I would be looking at Florida money line or regulation money line or puck line, and then under 5.5. I think Florida's overall great team. I think that first Rust game, Boston was flowing off the Game 7 win. Still, they had a little in the tank.
Yeah, they were in game shape, and Florida was just not sharp.
Yeah, and they were fine with that, and they've come back and won 3 strong. And Boston could make a stand here. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they push it, found some of these, but it's like what you really notice when Bergeron, Krejci, and Marchand aren't in. Pasternak's skating around. Who's he passing to? I mean, it's like you had these pieces that he just knew. They had such good flow together. And even with Marchand gone, And look, I'm not saying anything about Lohrei and Geeky, but it's not the same. It's not the same when you pass them the puck and have confidence in them moving it around. It's not the same as passing it to Bergeron and Krejci and Marchand. It's just not.
I have to give Lohrei and Geeky a lot of credit. I think they have played well. I actually think that there's some of the regular Bruins guys really. Frederick been physical, but really haven't noticed him other than that. McAvoy to me been a little underwhelming.
I mean, I'm not saying Lohrei and Geeky. I'm not trying to attack them. I'm just saying, like, when you look at the end of the game and they need a goal, like they're keeping the puck in the zone. Like Lohrei had a nice keep in, but it's not as clean, as crisp as some of these other guys who do it, and they can keep the play moving. I'm just saying, you just see a little bit. I mean, Lohrei is what, 22? This kid. I mean,
yeah.
You know, so they just haven't been around for that long.
Okay, since you're not taking this game, how about Canucks Oilers? Kick us off, Occupancy. Canucks are plus 170 dogs. It is in Edmonton. It's game 4.
Yeah.
I don't think this is do or die. The over-under is 6.5 per DraftKings. Are you touching this game?
No, but if I was, I think Edmonton could tie it up here.
Yeah, I think Soucy's going to be a big loss for them. Okay, Mike, how about you?
If everyone's healthy, I'm betting the Nucks where they're not, they're not in, whether it's suspension, injury, etc. No Soucy
for this game for sure. He's been suspended.
Right. So we have a suspension. I don't know if there's any other injuries. Honestly, I still may take the Nucks plus 1.5. It's tempting. I got to think about this one a little bit more, to be honest. But if you ask me right now, Canucks 1.5, I'm probably going to take that.
Okay. Yep. All right. I like Vancouver in this game too, but we'll see. Pearlo, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm on the same page. Unfortunately, my series pick doesn't look like it's going to work out. And I got to give kudos to you on the Canucks being undervalued in the series, because they are. And I don't see an Edmonton team that looks like they want to go to war. I really don't. Like, a couple guys do, but the whole team really doesn't. I'm really surprised about that when you got Perry back there trying to bring these guys into the fray. I think there's going to have to be some big changes in Oilers land over the summer.
There will be. Pearlo, question for you, though. Who do you think has the coaching advantage here? Because I, for not 1 second, ever thought Knobloch was a better coach than Rick Tocchet.
Tocchett's a better coach all day. And Vancouver, this is the first time, I think, in my life that I can remember that I see a Vancouver team that's willing to go to war. And they're willing to go to war, and Edmonton is not. I'll tell you what, you take out McDavid like that and look at the reaction after that from the Oilers bench and the rest of the game. It was nonsense. You should be freaking.
That was a fluky play, though, Pearlo.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Your freaking best player just got cross-checked in the face, and there was no response whatsoever.
I heard that from a lot of people, Pearlo. You are not the first one. I heard that from a lot of people. So I'm not surprised to hear you say it. But no, I find it interesting that you
I agree with you, though. I don't think Soucy meant to hit a cross-check him in the face. No.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just he should have got a $5,000 fine.
One-game suspension. I don't think he should get a one-game suspension.
Yeah, the suspension's a joke. The fact that Hyman didn't get suspended.
I totally agree with you. But when you're in the playoffs and that happens to your best player, there's got to be a better response. And it's not just that play. Vancouver has gone to war more than the Oilers in this series. And, I got to give kudos to Tocchet for that. And I had Oilers to win, but they're not going to win. Vancouver's winning this series.
All right. I love it, Pearlo. And I'm rooting for the Canucks. Sod is in the chat. Sod, I love having you here. I love the Canucks fans. I think they're so passionate. And I always root for the teams that have never won anything. So I would love to see the Canucks make the Stanley Cup Finals. Plus, Vancouver's a big market, man. I mean, I know it's not Toronto, but it's right there. I think it's the third biggest market in Canada. And, like it's a West Coast team, like straight West Coast team. Boy, looks like Dallas, Vancouver, that's going to be a great series. But if they made the finals, the Rangers potentially, or the Florida Panthers, still like Miami, New York, pretty cool. So, yeah. And Subhuman says, do not count these Nucks out. I went the wrong way. Nucks are going to body them. I am very much with Pearlo. All right. So, yeah, I love it. Okay, guys, I think that's pretty much the end of the show. We haven't been on, but I wanted to do an unveiling here. We got a jersey from Hockey Jerseys at Hockey Jerseys, and I'll tag them in this. But let's see. You buy a jersey for $100, basically. You follow them on Twitter, and they send you something. And it could be signed. It could be something special. It could be a Chicago Blackhawks jersey. So let's see. And it is a Chicago Blackhawks jersey. And it is a Jonathan Toews.
What's that? Is that the third or fourth one, Toews?
The fourth Jonathan Toews. But you know what? I haven't gotten a white one from him, so I won't call and complain.
Nice.
Somebody might be having some fun with me at Hockey Jerseys. But anyway, Hockey Jerseys, I appreciate you, but I do not want you to send me any more Jonathan Toews. Let's just go with that one. All right.
If it was a Fighting Sioux Jonathan Toews?
See, I would love it. I would take it. And if it was autographed, I would just be like, yeah, great. It's great. They also send hockey cards. So we can check those out here, see what they sent. Donald Brashear as a Montreal Canadian. I'm sorry, I don't even remember him playing for Montreal. Joe Nieuwendyk, a man who's on the, if you watch the intro, that's me with Joe Nieuwendyk in Tampa. 2 Joe Nieuwendyks, 3 Joe Nieuwendyks, 4 Joe Nieuwendyks, and a Tony Granato. So now I have 4, and these are all, I don't even know what brand of card this is. I'm sorry, guys. Says, I do not know.
A blast in the past.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, closing thoughts. Closing thoughts on the on the games. Go ahead, Pearlo. Give us your closing thoughts for the evening.
Closing thoughts on the games right now?
Just the series as a whole, where we're at.
Dallas is out shooting Colorado 18-3, and I am absolutely blown away by that. Colorado in their last, they're down 2-1, and they're getting outshot 18-3 by the Dallas.
Yeah, Pearlo. Rantanen's not right.
Yeah,
Nichushkin is out for 6 months. They lose Toews for this game. I'm surprised we're getting this good effort from Colorado.
I didn't get that information before I bet freaking Colorado in this freaking game. But yeah, it's still, I mean, that's just outrageous. Now this Dallas team is something else.
Yes.
Something else. Who had Dallas to win the cup here?
I had them in the finals on my bracket.
I am going to the finals on my bracket.
I had them losing to Florida, but they could easly win. And I would not be sad for either team. Now, Florida hasn't won a cup, so I'll probably decide with Florida. Just, but if Dallas wins, good for them. And good God, man, as well as they draft. Mike, what do you got? Closing thoughts?
I'm certainly eating my words that Colorado's going to go to the cup if, everyone's down. Yeah. Not surprised with the Bruins. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'd actually like to see Dallas win the cup. I think it'd be cool. But growing up, watching Madonna, he was like, when I was playing center, he was the guy I watched.
So Dallas did not make the final last year. That would be the Vegas Golden Knights who won it. Sorry, Mike, didn't mean to cut you off there. Dallas made the finals in the bubble and lost to Tampa. Yeah, and Florida lost last year in the finals. Anyway, so and Rick's giving us first overtime in the book. Still London, Oshawa 6-6. How do you watch OHL games at home, Rick? Tell us in the chat if you pay for a service in Canada. Does anybody watch OHL games in the U.S.? I know there's a way to do it. I just don't know what it is. Mike, are you aware?
No, I don't have OHL. I will watch some ECHL, and I forget the one where like the Tri-City Americans and Worcester Railers are in. I will watch that one. Drawing a blank in the league now, but that's the only I don't know, is it professional, should I say? Like the major junior league, it's the only one I watch.
Okay. Finish your closing thoughts, Mike. Didn't mean to.
No, you're all good. Florida, to me, is actually a surprise. I thought Tampa, when they ended the season, were rolling in hot. I had Tampa winning that series. So I can't root for Florida, though. I hate their fans. But with that being said, I am from Boston, and I know you all hate me.
No, Mike, I love it, and this is becoming a legit rivalry with the Bruins and
Panthers.
Yeah, I mean they're division rivals. I like it, and they're both good teams. This is good stuff, man. I love you. You're out there saying you don't like them. I totally get it. Like that a-hole at the Frozen Four.
Yeah, no idea. No idea who Tom Brady was.
Yeah,
never gonna get over that.
Yeah, whatever. I look forward to seeing you again at the next Frozen Four, Mike. We'll definitely hang out. We're gonna stay in the same place. I think. Got to make it work.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Occupancy. Why don't you give your final thoughts and we'll close the show.
Yeah, again, thanks for having me. It's great to be on. Love talking NHL with you guys. And
what's your schedule? Can you come on?
I was going to talk to you after the show.
Okay, we'll talk about it when we end. All right.
Yeah.
By the way, Dallas on the power play before we get out of here. Finish your thoughts, Occupancy.
No, like, some of the big NHL rumors, topics, are like seeing how the coaches, Marty St. Louis is like the fourth tenured coach out of like everyone. He's had the job for 6 months. Yeah, something. But, it kind of, if you look at the teams who've sort of fallen out this year, right? I mean, you have to have every single thing to make it this far into the season. Everything. You need to have the coach that the guys can trust. You need to have the right players. You need to have the puck luck. You need to have everything. And even these really top tier teams, Colorado and Edmonton, are not doing great right now. I mean, Boston's still an amazing team. And you need so much to make it this far. And I think, we're seeing that. And, look, this is a good time of the year too. It always is. And
it's the best.
Not having a team in the race too. I feel like I kind of can see the rink and the board a little clearer, more clearly now. And
your bias isn't blinding you.
No, I'm not being torn by Long Islanders and then my game. It's just like I'm not. Now it's just like, all right, I'm gonna watch and enjoy these games. And but no, it's good. It's good. This is all good stuff. And we're gonna see, I think, some new faces raise Lord Stanley here. So we'll see who it ends up being. But it's coming down. It's getting good. These are really good teams left. This is the best hockey you could watch and listen to anywhere in the world. This is the top league. So it's great to be a part of it.
Oh my God. Dallas
is on fire right now.
Yeah. I mean, Dallas is just living in Colorado's ends. 21 shots to 4. They look so dominant on this power play. Did they score? Are you ahead of me?
It looks like I'm ahead of you. Yeah,
Dallas just.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Feel bad for Gerard. He had a great PK there too.
Yeah.
And he's
my wife's ahead of me too. Thank you, Rick. 2-0. By the way, to close it up, Rick said if you want to watch in Canada, it's on TSN. I have not been able to see a way to stream the OHL in the US, but I know you can. Hey, Subhuman Gaucho, you are the man. I really want to thank everybody that's coming in here. We're getting really good numbers on YouTube and Twitter. So I so appreciate. Please leave a like, subscribe on YouTube at the Sports Beard channel, the Sports Beard. Just type in the Sports Beard and you'll see a guy holding up a Stanley Cup. I had the opportunity to do that in 2000 at the bar in Chilkoot Charlie's at Anchorage, Alaska for the 2000 New Jersey Devils. Thank you so much, Scott Gomez. I have touched the cup. I didn't get a picture of me holding it, but I definitely touched it. and held it up over my head, and it weighs a ton. And now they don't let you do that, but I've gotten plenty of pictures with it, and it's the greatest trophy in all of the land. I put a fresh one up above me. That's a popcorn maker, actually, Stanley Cup popcorn maker. So I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming out, and we'll see you guys back tomorrow. Thank you. Peace. All right. Sorry, I'm rusty.